You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Hello all, before I start, I have a small ask from this side of the camera. If you felt compelled to click on this video, please consider hitting that like button. That helps me out a lot, and that helps the channel out a lot. And since you're here, also consider subscribing to the channel. And now on to our feature presentation. Hello everyone, we are a week out from the release of the Flash movie. Well, some insiders and experts have already seen, I think, what do they call it, the guest screenings, but for the average Joes like me, it will be released next week. And similar to Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm looking forward to seeing this one, and I haven't looked really forward to seeing a superhero movie in a while. And I'm going to talk about that shortly. But before I do that, let's address Michael Keaton's classic line, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." So let's unpack Michael Keaton's iconic line, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." When I saw that in the trailer, the Flash trailer, I, along with a lot of people, laughed, and I thought back to 1989. I am a Gen Xer, so I was coming of age when Batman the Motion Picture, directed by Tim Burton and starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson and Kim Basinger, I was coming of age when that movie was released. So I have vivid memories of going to the theater and seeing that movie and watching it numerous times on VHS, listening to the Prince soundtrack, and so on, etc., etc. But if you are below a certain age, you don't remember that and you don't know what that means. So let's talk about that iconic scene, that iconic line, and how it was delivered originally. And it was delivered a little something like this. Now, you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. So there were many, many iconic scenes and lines in Batman the Motion Picture, many delivered by Jack Nicholson. Many argue that he was the actual star in the movie, and his star was much bigger than Michael Keaton's, similar to Heath Ledger and Christian Bale in The Dark Knight. But in that particular scene, Bruce was with Vicky Vale at her place, and he was about to reveal who he was and that he was the Batman. Of course, Jack Nicholson's Joker had a thing for Vicky Vale as well. So at that particular time, he showed up unannounced with Bob the Goon and some other henchmen, and he gave the classic line, "Well, Miss Vale, another rooster in the hen house." So Bruce, seeing that danger is imminent and conflict is imminent, he grabs her tray, puts it in his torso, anticipating that he would receive a bullet to his torso, and he confronts the Joker, and that's when he uttered that iconic line, "You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts." It was more animated, and it was more aggressive. And what's funny is when I did it, you saw that I took my rod and I swiped that way. Well, Bruce actually smashed a vase on Vicky Vale's fireplace, And what's funny about that scene is that you can see the Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker. You could see him, and I think Bob the Goon. Everybody just kind of jumped like this because they were surprised that Bruce would aggressively react that way to the Joker. That's the best way I could say it right now. But they all jumped back like this. And what's funny is, immediately afterwards, the Joker pulls out his gun, and then he utters his classic line, "Tell me, friend, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" Bruce says, "Wait a minute, I've heard that before. What did you say?" And Joker says, "I ask that of all my prey. It's just something that I say," something to that effect. And he shoots Bruce, and of course, Bruce survives. But the significance of that moment is Bruce realizes that the Joker, Jack Napier, was the assailant who murdered his parents, Thomas and Martha, in that Gotham City alleyway. And that set him on the path to becoming the Batman. But that's where that iconic line comes from. And those who saw that movie and who watched that movie quite a bit, you know that that's a subdued version of that line. But the original version of it back in 1989 was much more electric, and it was just funny. The whole scene, the whole sequence was funny, even though it was dark in some ways. Okay, so I am excited to see the Flash movie. I'm excited about this, and I don't think I've been this excited about a superhero movie since Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie is going to involve time travel, and it's also going to involve alternate realities, both of which, as a scientist, fascinate me. You know, you always, in any movie, in most movies, if it's done correctly, time travel is always a compelling plot device. I think it would fall under a plot device. But also, as a scientist myself, I sit and wonder sometimes if there are multiple realities, if there are multiple versions of myself around somewhere, if there are multiple versions of this Earth somewhere. In terms of astronomy, if I recall correctly, there are multiple galaxies in this vast universe that we are in. So this galaxy that we're in, this solar system, this is just one of many. And I've wondered if there are other versions of this reality that we know here. So just based upon that, I'm excited to see this movie. I did not read the Flashpoint comic book. There's a disclaimer, but I heard in these superhero sci-fi circles that Spider-Man No Way Home was their answer to this, much the same way Doctor Strange was Marvel's answer to Dr. Fate. But I'm hoping that they will have done this movie just as well as Spider-Man No Way Home was done. And the beauty of that is that it allowed all three versions of Spider-Man to live and coexist in our fan minds. And it looks like this is going to set up a way in which all of the Batmans can coexist. I don't know if Christian Bale will be in this. I haven't heard anything. But we know Ben Affleck is in it. We know that Michael Keaton is in it. Well, there won't be any Val Kilmer or George Clooney. But I think it's cool when multiple movies have been made by multiple directors. And it's fascinating to set up a paradigm where they can all exist and where they all exist. So I hope that in this movie they do that justice, And I know we're going to have Kara L, a female version of Superman, as opposed to Kal-El. But I saw in an article that we're going to see another version of a Kryptonian, not General Zod. I saw that we may see another version of Superman in here. I'm not going to speculate or give it away, but this is always intriguing, the whole multiverse aspect, at least for me. So we know that James Gunn has taken over any future portrayals of the DC superheroes, and a plan and a framework has already been created. We know that the heroes and the actors who portrayed these iconic DC heroes are for the most part not coming back, which is disappointing to me. So the Flash movie, this is going to be the last, it should be the last remnants of the Snyderverse. And which I think is unfortunate. I liked, if it was, well, after seeing the extended Snyder cut, as I described on this channel before, I was ready to see that universe further unfold, but some things are not meant to be. And so my hope for this movie is that they tie it up in such a way that allows for the existence of those characters and the possibility of those characters existing. And maybe in the future, if there are multiverse crossovers, because I think this principle is not going away in the superhero genre, maybe we could see them again at some point. But my hope is that they tie this up in such a way that lets us know that those characters are still alive somewhere. Now, even though the Snyder Justice League is not going forward, I want to applaud DC and David Zaslav for putting the smackdown and the kibosh on the projects that were coming out. That Batgirl movie, and also I heard that this female Supergirl, this female version of Superman, she was supposed to supplant Henry Cavill's Superman, and the Batgirl was supposed to supplant and take over Ben Affleck's Batman, so you'd have this all-female triumvirate. And I want to say, those of you at DC who were planning that, shame on you. Shame on you. And shame on everyone who is trying to create that kind of thing. As I said in my video regarding what Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings, what his race is and what his true ethnicity is, stick with the source material. Stick with what helped build these iconic characters. Stick with those stories. Stick with those villains. Stick with those plot lines. Stop trying to modernize everything. Stick with what worked before. Pay respect to the characters. Pay respect to their creators. And stay true to the source material. Superman is the flagship character in the DC superhero pantheon. So stay true to that. Batman is one of the other characters, one of the other major iconic characters in the DC superhero pantheon. Stay true to that. If you want to elevate another group, another gender, another race, find characters in that pantheon, in that universe, who are already there, as opposed to replacing the ones that we know and that we like. So I'm saying this to say that as this is the end of the Snyderverse, I want to give applause to David Zaslav for pulling the plug on those projects that were going to further send this into the toilet. So applause to you, Mr. Zasloff and DC. So are you looking forward to seeing the Flash movie? I thought when the first Justice League movie was released, I knew that the Flash was going to be involved in some sort of time travel because he came to Bruce in a dream and Lois was the key. Lois is the key. So I know that they were building a big story involving the Flash and time travel. But I don't think it was this. I think this is a way to kind of tie everything up and bring this ensemble and this universe to a close. But with it changing, I'm still looking forward to seeing this. So are you looking forward to seeing this? Are you looking forward to seeing Michael Shannon come back as General Zod? And are you looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton reprise his role as Batman and Bruce Wayne? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is Big Discussions 76, Entertainment and Media. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe. If you want to donate something to the channel, that information is below in the description box. And finally, please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I'm also a writer with 2 blogs and a book project of my own on the way. So the next video I create on this will be a reaction or maybe a stream, maybe a live stream. Either way, my next offering relating to the Flash movie will be a reaction to it. So until then, everyone stay safe out there. Thank you to everyone who has supported the channel and recently joined. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. Never rub another man's rhubarb. That was the actual ending to that scene. I don't know if the Joker was referring to Vicky Vale is, I don't know if he was saying Vicky Vale is my girl, or if he was saying if someone's going to act crazy around here, it's going to be me. So don't try to outdo me in terms of acting crazy. But that was the ending to that scene, and I think there were quite a few of us who didn't know what a rhubarb was before Jack Nicholson cleverly and comedically delivered that line. And then finally, the Dancing with the Devil quote. It actually went, "Tell me, friend, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I always ask that of all my prey." I just like the sound of it. That's how that quote went. I just wanted to add this extra on. Shout out to my brother Amal Dunbar for the Green Lantern shirt. I'll talk to you all the next time.